And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for bout number 3. It is a 200-pound catch-weight fight made up of 3 3-minute rounds. It's brought to you by U.S. Air Force Special Warfare, Jake's Automotive and Jake's Diesel and Automotive Repair, and Vitality Medical. And now, ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of the blue corner, our fighter is 21 years old, 6'1". He weighed in at 197.6 pounds. He has a record of 2-3. Fighting out of Wolf Point Boxing in Wolf Point, Montana, please welcome Mason Garfield. And our fighter out of the red corner is 20 years old, 6 foot tall. He weighed in at 199 pounds. He has a record of 2-0. Representing the Grindhouse out of Billings, Montana, he is Garrett Buckalew. And your referee is Mr. Nick Behrens.
Garrett got a big pop from the crowd there.
Referee bringing both guys to the center. Both guys look ready to go. You know, Garfield trying to get to 500 in this fight. Very tough task in front of him with the undefeated Garrett Buckalew. Wolf Point, Montana versus Billings, Montana. Door locked, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Shoots in for the single leg. Look, he's going for Kimura. Man, you don't see this kind of defense too often. Buckalew gets the back. Look for a big slam.
Wow.
Not as devastating as you might think. Oh, catches the neck.
Man, this scramble is crazy.
What a great scramble. Garfield ends up on the back here. Buckalew wasting a lot of energy there in that small scramble exchange.
It was like Garrett tried to take him by surprise, and now positions have turned.
Oh, just misses with the head kick. Mason better get his hands up. Buckalew shoots in for a double. I'd like to see him put some hands behind that shot.
Great sprawl by Mason.
Ooh, nice uppercut.
Ooh.
Jab. Thing is, I'd say you got to get those hands up. You got to get those hands up. Nice jab cross there by Mason. Man, the only thing I got to say is man, those hands are so low, and you got someone as powerful as Garrett Buckalew. Look at, whoa, stuffs his takedown like nothing.
But again, we see Garrett throw a punch and then dive in for the takedown. Just missed it.
Yeah, Buckalew obviously wants to get this fight to the ground, get on top and pose his strength and his will. But that last shot was very, very sloppy.
Mason just landed a nice shot to the body.
We're about halfway through the first round. Buckalew back on Mason's back, trying to drag him down here. Ooh, spikes his head off the ground there. I tell you what, as exhausting as this for Garfield, this is exhausting for Buckalew as well. Like, guys don't understand that. Like, trying to ride somebody, pin him up against the cage is very, very exhausting. These little cheap shots land in, trying to get some score here.
In these positions, who is taking more a toll in terms of the cardio?
Ooh, well, it's tough to say. It really just depends on the output. You know, you can't tell because of the anaerobic lock. You know, you have Buckalew there with his hands locked, and then you have Mason, trying to fight the hands, stay on his feet. They're both taking a toll here. I'd like to see Garfield knee slide that left leg out and stand back up. He needs to separate his hips from Buckalew. See that? Yeah, he has to get those hips away to create some space here. Slides in that left hook, but he's kind of low. Garfield needs to shake him off here. Yep, Buckalew realizes that he's a little high. I think that's a great realization. Look at this. Circles out of it.
Oof. Corner's calling for knees. Foot stomp.
See, look at the cage lifting up. That's how my arm went through. If you guys look at the bottom of the cage, there's a big space. That definitely needs to be addressed. Okay. That does need to be addressed. Someone's going to get break their shit. I almost did my best. Look at that space there. There's 4 inches. Yeah, for sure.
10 seconds left.
Let's see. Ooh, nice shot by Mason Garfield. Ooh, Buckalew taking some deep breaths. Garfield looks like he's not as tired. But he put his hands up on the fence, catches breath. Buckalew, I think that round's all Buckalew.
I think so too, and I think like both guys are winning. Let's take a look at the replay. Look at that shot. I love that. He took him by surprise right from the get-go.
Good single leg. Big. The slam wasn't as big as it looked. I think that probably wasted a lot more energy. Boom, misses that shot.
Yeah, it definitely seemed to when Mason hit the ground. He caught himself with his arm, so it definitely absorbed some of that blow, some of that trauma there.
Yeah, you want to land on your butt or your knees in that situation, just like Mason Garfield did. You do not want to get spiked on your head. That can be devastating and a fight ender. My unofficial scorecard, Huzaifa, 1-0, Garrett Buckalew.
I agree. Now, we saw Garrett constantly trying to bring him to the ground. Is that, do you think, because he feels he has a major advantage on the ground? Is that where you think he feels more comfortable? What is your takeaway?
I think that's just his nature. That's what he wants to do. I mean, you got, obviously, Garfield is a good wrestler. He's defended a lot of his takedowns. Both guys look ready to go, man. No serious damage was really done in that first round. Let's see if Buckalew can get him to the ground.
Garrett's coming out with a smile. Oh,
lands the right hand. I'd really like to see Garfield get his hands up, though, man, and he's really susceptible to getting knocked out here. What's Buckalew looking around on the ground for something as if he lost something?
Ooh,
nice high kick.
Ooh,
nice high kick again. See, that's what oof. See, just going in, that's just so exhausting. Buckalew gets back on the back of Garfield. But again, he's getting there, but he's not doing anything with it. So I'm really curious how the judges are going to score this. I have Buckalew with the control, but he's just not doing any damage.
Sure, it does look like Garrett is starting off the round on top, meaning ahead on the scorecards.
Look at this, and he's way high. Garfield needs to come up. Oh, let go of that single leg and start building his base. Buckalew landed some little shots there, little cheap shots.
That was a pretty heavy one.
Back on his back. Let's see if Garfield can get out of this compromised position.
Justin, what do you say Mason needs to do here?
Mason needs to stand up, get his hips out, and turn and face him. He has that one hook in. He's trying to get his right hook in. He's way high. He needs to get out of here right now. Being bent over in this position is not advantageous for him.
You hear the corner call out for foot stomps, and Garrett goes right to the foot stomps. Some knees to the thigh. Still hearing Garrett's corner calling for more. Ooh, nice shot. Garrett throws a big strike but misses. Another kick. Hearing Mason's corner calling to keep his distance.
Mason Garfield back on his feet. Buckalew taking some big breaths here. But Mason's not putting up the pressure. He's down in the scorecards. He's losing this round. He needs to pick up the pace. We only have a minute left in this second round. And, lands a big shot. Right hand to a left hook. Look at, Buckalew's going to shoot in. If he gets this, this is. Gets another takedown. Buckalew on top. He needs to stay in half guard here. Do not pass the side position. It would be a huge mistake. Trying to get that backside wrist ride. Love that, but it has to be under the armpit. Yeah, he kind of loses it here. Oh, no, I think he still has it. I can't tell from the camera angle. We got 20 seconds.
Garrett landed a couple of strikes, not too many. See those little short strikes from the forearm right there.
Absolutely. Mason Garfield just holding on to the end of the round. Heard the 10-second clacker. But I tell you what, if I'm Mason Garfield, lands another shot. If I'm Mason Garfield, I have to realize that I'm down 2-0, and I need to knock Garrett Buckalew out because his wrestling defense isn't working anymore. We look at this beautiful round kick. Look, he goes for it twice. Like right here, he needs to be getting his hips off the fence. Maybe he circles a little more, lands that right hand. Ooh, nice shot, bang, bang, misses. Puts him back up against the fence. Buckalew changes his level, shoots in again. And it almost looks like Mason Garfield pulls guard here, but obviously he doesn't want to do that.
What do you got here for your unofficial scorecard?
My unofficial scorecard, I have Buckalew 2-0. Obviously he's pretty tired. But I tell you what, Mason Garfield looks deflated, man. He's looking down in the bucket, talking to his coach. If I'm Mason Garfield's coach right now, I need to tell him we need a knockout. All right, and he needs to start coming forward. He's not applying any pressure. Buckalew's starting to get tired. He's not applying enough pressure. And, when you're down 2-0, you have to start picking up the pace. and unfortunately Garfield just hasn't done it yet. I think in the third round, I think in the third period here, I'd really like to see him start picking up that pace.
You know, you mentioned that both guys do look tired, but that's what this third round, that's what mixed martial arts is all about. They're going to see what they can pull from within and put it all out there. So let's see.
Nice jab. But again, jab's just not going to do enough. It's all Buckalew coming forward looking for that shot. Oh, nice little toss there. I'd settle in half guard right here and ride this victory out. You know, Mason Garfield really needs to clear that bottom leg and start coming up to his feet here.
But you got to give Garrett credit. He is trying to stay busy, trying to stay active, land strikes on top, and land that grounded pound.
Oh, yeah, Garrett is doing, look at him, putting his head up against the fence. Garrett Buckalew is doing some incredible things here. I would not like to see him pass. Do not pull that right leg out. Personally, I'm staying in half, no, or if he goes to mount, he can go to mount here and then keep his head propped up against the fence. But if you're Mason Garfield here, he turns it to the side. He can wall walk up or cage walk up with his feet. But look how Buckalew's pinned his head up against the fence. He has his head on the right side to keep Garfield from getting his hips to the fence. He's doing everything right, and that is why Garrett Buckalew is 2-0 in this fight.
And I do want to mention, too, Garrett also placed 4th in state in wrestling, and you can see his wrestling acumen right here.
See, right now, Mason Garfield giving up his back, flattened out. Oh, man, this is not good for Garfield. He's looking for a choke, doing some little shots there. He got those feet up. This is bad news for Mason Garfield.
Those last few strikes, you could hear there was a thud.
Ooh, look at this. Look at this. I think this is the beginning of the end of Garfield here. Down 2 rounds to 0.
Is there much you can do?
Buckalew gets the finish, and he improves to 3 wins and 0 losses.
Wow, and he is fired up. Congratulations to Garrett the Great.
What a great fight, man. What a great wrestling pace. Let's take a look at the replay right here. Almost like a little lat drop to an underhook throw. Finishes off, goes to mount, does everything right. Garfield tries to get out by giving up his back. Unfortunately, gets flattened out, and the referee saw enough. And you know, congratulations to Garrett the Great Buckalew, improving to 3-0, and Mason Garfield, unfortunately, going to 2 wins and 4 losses here.
It was a great stoppage. And by the way, Justin, when you're flattened out like that, is there much you can do, or are you pretty much in major trouble at that point?
You got to roll to your back, man. You're in a bad compromising position. Unfortunately, just roll to your back and try to fight out a mount. When someone's on top of you like that, I mean, again, it's you're just, which bad position do you want to be in? You want them on your back, or you want them in mount, man? And unfortunately, when you're about to get finished, you just got to go to mount and, you know, take the damage. You earn that spot and try to get out. Well, let's send it up to Terrell Bracken for the official
Bout
introduction.
number 3, brought to you by U.S. Air Force Special Warfare, Jake's Diesel and Automotive, and Vitality Medical comes to a close. Your winner in round 3, 1 minute 31 seconds by TKO due to strikes, Garrett Buckalew.
Congratulations to Garrett Buckalew improving to 3-0. He's getting better every time. You know, I'd like to see him set up his shots a little more with his hands. He has great wrestling. He's big. He's strong. You know, we talked about him wanting to be a bodybuilder. And he's getting better every fight. He's only had 3